Hello, I'm here with Sir Paul Curran. I'm president of City University of London. Sir Paul, thank you so much for agreeing to do this interview.
A pleasure.
So straight into it then, what are your main thoughts on the current UCU strikes and also the strikes in previous years?
Well, I'm more concerned about the possibility of future strikes affecting our students, actually. As you'll know, the UCU, one of their committees resolved earlier this month to move to further strikes, 14-day strikes, that would take place in February and running into the beginning of March.
Mm-hmm.
The UCU will need to decide through their national committee whether they go ahead with that. And that committee's meeting right at the end of January, the 30th of January. So that's what I'm more concerned about, actually, because you can never be sure what effect union action will have on our students. So I'm pleased to say that we mentioned before that the impact on our students was not great this time, and that was in part because obviously that there weren't that many people taking part, but the people who were taking part were keeping the students informed and working with the students. So a big thank you to our staff.
So there were some staff who were out on the picket lines.
Yeah.
They were asking you to support them by asking the UUK and the UCEA to negotiate a meaningful resolution to the issues of pensions, pay, casualization, workload, and equality in the HE sector. How have you responded, or how will you respond to these requests from staff?
Well, the debate is a national one, and it's really around a whole range of issues, but the dispute is only on two issues. They're around two numbers. One of them is the pay increase, and the pay increase that was paid last year is 1.8%. And the other one is about the pension contribution. So that is 9.6%. So that is what the dispute's on. That's the national dispute. There is no dispute with the union about casualisation, gender pay, or any of those other issues. They're for local resolution. That's not to say that staff don't care deeply about them. They do. But if you were to look in the extreme, if they were resolved, it wouldn't alter the dispute.
I see.
So the dispute is only on those two numbers. When you say about how do we, you say how do we resolve it? I mean, it's to encourage further meetings, further negotiations, and as you know, over pay, there's no mandate for UCEA to increase the offer from 1.8%. But it's important to keep that dialogue going. So the meetings are going on today. The meetings between UCEA and UCU are scheduled for today. And they will be talking about a whole range of other issues that don't relate to pay. But they can't move forward on pay because there is no mandate for them to move forward on pay. So that's where they're all at. Over pensions, that's a different matter, because the only way forward is around coming to a different way of looking at the pension scheme and organising the pension scheme in a different way. And that relies on the expert committee. And the expert committee produced its report last Thursday. So the strikes happened before the report was produced. Anyway, the report came out last Thursday, and that does point to a way forward. And UCU have responded very positively to it, and Universities UK have responded positively to it. So touch wood. So I shouldn't do that with a microphone on the table. I think there's light at the end of the tunnel. It is a long way off, but there's light at the end of the tunnel over pensions.
So not just staff, but also students, they've been quite vocal in their criticisms towards the university's handling of the situation, partly because of the information that they're getting from the UC picket lines. So both home and overseas students have been expressing their concerns over their tuition fees going to waste, and have been making financial claims. So how will you respond, or how has the university responded to these concerns, and will there be any financial compensation made to the students?
No one's made any financial claims yet, but you're right, there have been people talking about making claims.
Exactly, yeah.
But no one's made them yet. If you look at what happened from the last strike as an indication, there were students who made financial claims, and this is true not just for City but across the whole sector. If it was found that the university was negligent in providing the learning that had been committed to, then the claim could be justified and they'd be paid. And if you look at what happened nationally, that's certainly what happened. There are a few people who were paid. But it's not just missing out on terms of time being taught. It's not having that learning made up. So fortunately, academic colleagues have done their very best to make that learning up. And so I think, as far as I can see, that there are unlikely to be any claims that could be made that would be successful. But I say that in the knowledge that, of course, things have changed from last time. Mm-hmm. Last time, there wasn't a regulator in place. And as you know, the higher education system changed quite dramatically in August because the regulator got their full powers. And the regulator requires of us that if there is industrial action, we make good the learning. And we think we have, but it'll be tested by students who do make financial claims. And there may very well be some who do make claims.
So you're saying that those claims might or might not be
accepted? It depends on the individual claims.
I see.
Yeah. There's a process set up, and some might be successful, some not. It depends on the individual claims. But you're right. There were 3% of students who voted in support of the students' union position to support UCU. Mm-hmm. So there were quite a few students who were vocal, because 3%, although it sounded like a small percentage, that was still 600 students, 600 and something students.
Yeah. I think that almost brings us to the end of our interview. Is there a final message you'd like to leave for the staff and student body?
I suppose the main one is it's a national dispute that is around two things: the amount of the salary increase for last year, and the amount staff pay in their pensions. I'm always saddened when students are brought into this and students' learning suffers. But we're doing all we can to mitigate that effect and to encourage those who have influence nationally to carry on the conversation, because ultimately it's only by keeping the dialogue going that we have a hope of a resolution. So.
Great. Thank you so much for your interview.
A pleasure.